Have you ever taken melatonin to help you sleep? It's one of the most popular sleep supplements on the market, often described as natural, safe, and effective. But new research from the American Heart Association suggests that long-term use of melatonin supplements may have some unexpected and potentially serious side effects, especially when it comes to your heart health. In this video, we're going to explore what scientists recently found about melatonin and its possible connection to heart failure and what that could mean for you. Let's start with what the study discovered. Researchers analyzed the health records of over 130,000 adults with insomnia. The average age was about 56 years old, and about 60% were women. They specifically looked at people who had been using melatonin for a long time, meaning for at least 12 months or more, and compared them to people with insomnia who didn't use melatonin. Here's what they found. Over a 5-year period, those who used melatonin long-term had almost a 90% higher risk of being diagnosed with heart failure compared to those who didn't take it. To put that in numbers, about 4.5% of melatonin users develop heart failure, compared to just under 3% of non-users. When researchers use an even stricter definition, looking only at people who had multiple prescriptions or documented long-term use, the risk was still about 82% higher. It didn't stop there. The melatonin group also had a much higher chance of being hospitalized for heart failure, about 3.5 times higher. And their risk of dying from any cause during the 5-year study period was nearly twice as high. 7.8% of melatonin users died, compared to 4.3% of people who didn't take melatonin. Now, before you rush to throw out your melatonin bottle, it's important to understand what this kind of research can and can't tell us. This study is what's called observational. That means it can show an association, but it can't prove that melatonin directly cause heart problems. There could be other explanations. For example, people with worse insomnia might be more likely to take melatonin, and they might also already have other health issues that increase their risk of heart failure. The researchers didn't have information about the severity of insomnia or other medications people might have been taking, and those factors could affect the results. Another important note is that the study combined data from countries where melatonin is available only by prescription, like the United Kingdom, and places where you can buy it over-the-counter, like the United States. That means some melatonin use might not have been fully recorded, and that could influence the findings too. Still, the results are concerning enough to make doctors and scientists take a closer look. Melatonin has long been thought of as a harmless supplement, but this study raises a possibility that long-term use might have unexpected cardiovascular effects. One of the researchers involved in the project said, melatonin supplements may not be as harmless as commonly assumed. And that's an important message because so many people use melatonin daily without really thinking about it. So what does this mean for you, especially if you're someone who takes melatonin every night? First, this study doesn't say anything about short-term use. Taking melatonin occasionally for things like jet lag or short-term sleep disruption isn't what this research was studying. The concern is mainly about people who take melatonin for months or years, particularly those who already have insomnia or other health risks. If you've been taking melatonin for a long time, it's a good idea to talk with your doctor. Ask whether it's still the best option for you, and whether there might be other ways to improve your sleep that don't rely on supplements. For many people, addressing the underlying cause of poor sleep, like stress, irregular schedules, caffeine use, or screen time, can make a big difference. Techniques like cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia, often called CBTI, have been shown to be more effective and safer for long-term sleep improvement. The American Heart Association also reminds people that good sleep is one of the 8 pillars of heart health, part of what they call life's essential 8. Poor sleep doesn't just make you tired. It affects your blood pressure, metabolism, and even your risk for heart disease. So taking care of your sleep naturally, rather than masking the problem with supplements, can be an important part of preventing heart failure and keeping your heart strong. At the same time, this research should encourage more scientific studies to confirm or challenge these findings. Since this data was presented as an abstract and hasn't yet gone through full peer review, we need more evidence before making final conclusions. But it's an important early warning that deserves attention. Here's the bottom line. Melatonin can be helpful for short-term sleep problems, but the long-term safety picture isn't clear, and this new research links extended use with a significantly higher risk of heart failure and death. If you've been taking melatonin for more than a few months, especially if you have high blood pressure, diabetes, or other cardiovascular risks, it's worth reevaluating your routine. Don't stop suddenly without talking to your doctor, but make sure you have a plan that keeps your sleep and your heart health in balance. Your heart is one of the most important muscles in your body. Before relying on any supplement, especially for months or years, make sure you understand how it might affect more than just your sleep. Sometimes the best solution isn't found in a pill, but in small, consistent habits that support both rest and heart health.